So, TED Talks and storytelling, professional development, starting off with an intro to TED Talks, a little bit about storytelling. What is a TED Talk? So, to hear what is a TED Talk, I would like to ask someone to read. Samantha, can you please read to us what is a TED Talk?
A TED Talk. TED stands for Technology Entertainment Design. A TED Talk is a talk focused on sharing an idea worth spreading.
Okay, very good. So initially started as technology, entertainment, design, eventually moved into all many other fields. Samantha, while you're here, so I'd like to everyone welcome to the world of technology, education, design, and more. Um, I'd like us to take a step back though, because TED is part of the discipline of public speaking. Samantha, please tell us about public speaking.
Okay. What is public speaking? Public speaking is the act of speaking face to face to a live audience.
All right, keep going.
Why is public speaking important? We live in a world where we are overwhelmed with content. Communicating information in a way that is accessible to others is more important today than ever before.
Beautiful. So just to put it into sort of a way to look at it, there are multiple ways that we can work on our public speaking. And I'm saying this from a teacher to student perspective, and they come with different deliverables. And I would want to sort of give us a way to look at public speaking so that whether you take another Hishtalmut with me or with someone else in the family of public speaking, you'll be able to understand what it is that we are looking at. So, at the end of a public speaking course, students should be able to do something. What is that something? If it is debate, for example, can everyone write in the chat if you have experience with debate at all? Please write a one. And if you do not, please write two. All right, just so we can get an idea of, our experience with debate. All right, two, one, a lot of twos. Not a lot of experience with debate. Okay, a few. Who here has experience with a different form of public speaking? If you do, just write, type in the chat what form of public speaking it is, if it has a formal name. Okay, so debate's a pretty common one. But TED Talks, there are one or two TED Talk competitions a year, and there's Model United Nations. Does anyone has experience with Model United Nations? Please type one. If not, please type two. All right, we have one, two. All right. Has anyone here watched more than one TED Talk? If you have, please type three. And if you have not seen more than one TED Talk, please type four. All right, wonderful. So when I say so, I don't need to really go into the, like we've seen a TED Talk, we have a mental image of it. Excellent. Okay, so just to give an example for those who are familiar with debate or Model UN, with debate, you have two teams in high school, two teams of three who are going to be speaking in front of a judge, and they need to bring arguments and take down the other side's argument. So that's debate. This is different from Model UN, where you have a room of 30 or 40 students. Everyone has one vote. People's speeches are usually a minute, and they try to come up with a policy together that they're going to pass by with a majority vote. So, different activity. Negotiation. People negotiate with each other and bring their joint solution to a teacher or a judge. So, in negotiation, there's no speaking in front of a public. In debate, you speak in front of a public, but you're convincing a judge. In Model UN, you speak in front of a public with the goal of getting other people to vote for you. Very different. With TED Talk, you're speaking to an audience who doesn't interrupt, who can't ask questions, but at the same time, because there's no interaction, can get bored and decide that they're not going to listen anymore. So, the deliverable of this course is to be able to give a mini TED Talk. TED Talks can be up to 17, 18 minutes. And here we're trying to do something which is to do our, shorter version that we can have accessible to the classroom. But that's our deliverable, as opposed to other courses where what the students can do at the end is different. And if you decide to do TED Talks with your students, you say, this is what we are working on, the following format that we're going to learn. So I usually divide it into speaking to one versus speaking to many. And then can your audience interact or not interact. So these are the two categories put. So right now, TED Talks is speaking to an audience and there is no interaction. It's a one-way communication. So that's what we're working on here. By the way, this can work for certain students, again, assuming you can keep others from interrupting them, who may feel less comfortable in having a dialogue or less comfortable with interruptions or coming up with things on the spot. So TED Talk does cater to certain types of students and certain types of strength. Those who are better at, rapid response to questions, they may be better with debate or some other format. So let's quickly go through what is a TED Talk. Adi, can you please tell us what a TED Talk is?
I mean,
Sure. What's a TED Talk? A TED Talk is a short, powerful speech where someone shares an idea, story, or lesson they think is important.
Very good. Let's keep going. Adi, can you keep going?
I see. Oh, okay. TED Talks are no longer than 18 minutes and can be as short as 3 minutes. TED Talks cover topics like science, art, personal growth, or technology.
Okay, so at this point, if it's an interesting idea, many things can cover it. Adi, one more last one.
TED Talks are meant to inspire, educate, or make people think in new ways through ideas worth sharing.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so thank you, Adi. So we can see with TED Talks, the idea is not just to listen to a lecture, it's intended to inspire, educate, and get us to think in some new way. And that's why for our course, our first guideline before we think of topics or anything is we want to bring something new. Now, something new is not as easy to come up with proactively out of nowhere because often the things we want to share that we know are true, like, for example, exercise in the morning is important, you know, don't smoke, things like that, the audience is already persuaded of. So if we're trying to meet the TED criteria here, the goal is to help people think in some new way, bring something that was not there before. Okay? So TED Talks share ideas through different mediums together, through data, through personal stories, valuable skills, and lessons. So TED Talks, if you remember TED Talks you've seen, they bring facts, they bring personal stories, sometimes multiple, and they bring different lessons that they received through those stories. And it's usually a mix up of data, some kind of entertaining something that they do. The use of props, use of slideshows, use of images, use of music. It all really comes together in a way that when you see the close up on the presenter, plus the cutting away, can keep us engaged. And some of these people are the best speakers in the world. So the goal of a TED Talk, like I said, is to give new information, to motivate someone to action or change the way someone thinks in a way that will bring, some kind of difference in what happens, whether it's about the environment, recycling, going to dance, and so on. Now, what are the tools that are used to convey this message? And I would say for everyone here, uh, just offhand, if anyone here feels that there are tools that they use regularly, I'll divide it into three. What do we think is the most persuasive? Is it speech? Like, is it the words? Is it the tone and tonality, volume, or is it body language? So if you think it's speech, type one. If you think it's tone, type two. And if you think it's body language, type three in the chat. All right, I'd like to see where we think our starting point is. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, a lot of people into tone we can see. All right, did anyone write? Okay, I see one, two, three. Okay, so let's go with Aaron. Can you please tell us why you feel most people here say it's tone. Why do you think that it's the content, like the words?
uh, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't have, I guess, the right level of vocabulary, and we see it from day to day, just from people just walking around and trying to think that just because they did 5 units, they just come and so they think they're the best. And yet they sound like they don't know a lick of English. So I feel that's the most important. If you don't know how to actually, if you don't have the words and you keep on going, then honestly, I won't take you seriously. Even if it is a TED Talk, even, even if it's talking to students or whatnot, but the amount of units doesn't mean anything. If you know how to actually express, that's all that matters.
100%. I think that, without the words, the best, tone and presentation don't necessarily help. Ayala, can you tell us why you feel that tone is what wins over words? Ayala, you're on mute.
Hi, sorry. Well, I think, first of all, I agree with the previous speaker. Words are definitely important. But I also think that the tone has a very important because sometimes we listen to the music, the way we speak, the way we express our feelings and knowledge is also has such a meaning for me.
Definitely agree. Karawan, can you tell us why you feel tone comes ahead of the other two?
Hi everyone. I do believe that some people have good speech, but they do not know how, like their tone is not that perfect. So once you talk and you have a good tone, you can convey the message or whatever you want. So I guess that tone has everything to do. Yeah.
All right, so you feel that a weaker text but stronger tone can make the difference.
Yes, I do. Like as a teacher, I would say when I come to the class, doesn't matter whether I have like good speech or not. If I have the good tone, I can convey my message to my students. Like I can ask for everything, like I can deliver everything. Like this is the most important thing.
All right, very nice. It's not there was a big question about this in the world of comedy. It's like, is it the comedian or is it the material? And the question with the comedian was if they read a phone book, would this be would this be funny? And some people said yes. So there's no one way that it inherently needs to be. Thank you all for sharing. So TED Talks, they share ideas through different mediums
Wanted to
like
share,
data.
Daniel, that
Yeah, sorry. Uh,
uh,
yeah,
hello. Sorry,
yeah.
I don't know what I. Anyway, I saw this TED Talk once. I'm sure you know it, where the speaker didn't say anything, and he just like said, "Now I show you a slide. Now I say something dramatic," and it sounded so compelling, and he didn't really actually say something that was his point.
I,
So maybe
I,
I. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah. I've seen that talk. It's a very cool. It's a talk about the components of a talk, and he does it with a lot of charisma, enthusiasm. By the way, if you get home before the end of class, you can send it to us. I recommend everyone to watch that. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so back to where we were. So these different components of slides, props, an emotional hook, personal stories, they all work. Introductions and conclusions. These are all part of TED Talks. Now, for TED Talks, there is a structure which is simplified for use in the high school competitions, and it is as follows. And sometimes there are slight changes, but the structure of a TED Talk is introduction, personal story part one, thesis plus data, personal story part two, conclusion. Okay, for those who have seen last year's format, it used to have two personal stories. Now it's one personal story in two parts because two personal stories found some students were taking too long, and the goal is for it to be focused. And TED Talks in high schools follow the format from the previous slide. Okay, so this is what we're going to be working with, and the TED Talk meant to be produced by everyone here at the end of our talk, and the end of our, course is going to be up to 4 minutes to give the following format. This is in the slideshow in the Moodle, and we'll also have this in other places. Okay, so before we go into what makes TED Talks work, And my objective during this course is to give us many new thinking tools so that we will be able to produce much better and more compelling TED Talks by the end of the course. That we'll be able to find topics that are of interest, we'll be able to choose them and really make them something which works. I want to start with a drill to try this out.